All right. Hello and welcome. All right. I, I don't know what to say now. This is our very first podcast, and the reason why I want to do podcast is we don't have a real conference ever since you contributed the code. When you start contributing, we never meet up, and Europe and you're still in France, right? So Europe and France is one of the place that we Asian love to visit. The city of love, the city of romance. So yeah, whichever guys with girlfriends, they love to go there. So yeah. And the reason why we start this entire podcast is I just wanted to have us getting together, from you and all the different guys from the community. We will have like every fortnightly podcast, to get us a little bit, get in touch a little bit more for us to know each other and how things going lately, especially during COVID, post COVID, and what will happen. So before we start, all right, let me get this thing right again. All right, let me tell the world your name is Sim1.
It's kind of not. It's pronounced Simone. Italy pronunciation is a little bit different.
Right.
But I appreciate it. I appreciate
Okay.
Simone. I appreciate it.
So yeah. Tell us a little bit more about yourself. A quick introduction about
Yeah.
yourself. I mean,
So my name is actually Simone Berni. I'm an Italian engineer, software
Right.
engineer, and I'm working at Certego as a threat intel engineer. I'm 25 years old, and I first started contributing, and learning about killing. I think early 2020, so mid February, something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm right now working full time, and I started to studying emulation because I was a little bit interested, and my master thesis was about that.
Mm-hmm.
I worked a lot with killing, and I tried to use even another emulation engine, the Berni. At the start was another, I would say, uh, how I can say it, another emulation engine that was made from carbon black, from the carbon black, but I think it's dead right now. There are no more contribution. I think 1 or 2 years, and so I worked with a little bit with the killing community. It was pretty much my first real project from a university. I did not do any kind of real world programming. So I'm kind of ashamed of a lot of my code on the killing project. But yeah, we have to start somewhere, and we have to learn from our mistakes.
That is the entire idea. When we first design chilling, the only idea is we were thinking, should we go towards the performance side, which we want to do on a full C base plus assembly. Is that the right path that we're gonna do, or we will stick with Python, and then to recruit, to have people like you getting more interested, more or less your first serious project in the open source community, and we choose the Python path. We didn't choose Golang for some reason.
Yeah, I can agree with that decision.
Right. And previously, I do remember you were an intern over in your company. So now you are the official employee already.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations. Cool.
Thank you.
Cool. Nice. So how did you discover Chilling Framework? How did you find us, and how did you get into this thing? Were you been doing reverse engineering previously a lot, threat intelligence a lot, or how did you find us?
So I did my master thesis with a company called Certego, where I'm working at right now.
Mhm.
And the idea was to have some sort of sandbox wrapped against an emulation engine, because emulation will give a lot of power to have a lot of conditional samples and check every single have a lot of information of what the sample is doing. We can have and we can analyze the entire sample without having to configure an entire infrastructure for that. We don't need that. So we were a little bit curious about that, if it was possible, if it was a good choice for a company, for something like that. So I tried to study it a little bit. And so I discovered pretty much Killing because, again, it was the early stage of development. It was pretty much published by from 2 or 3 months. I don't remember exactly, but it was really new and there was pretty much no community outside the little development team. They work obviously because it was a new project. So I tried to see if the thing works, meaning that if we could emulate some malwares on thanks to the killing platform. And there were issues here and there where the main issue, I'm talking about Windows malwares, there was the lack of many APIs implemented. So my first contribution was implementing a little bit here and there of APIs, simple APIs. So just to get the known of the sandbox of the killing, how does it work, how every parts communicate with each other, because again, killing emulates. I don't remember how many architecture now, how many different OS.
We just added I think the community added a QNX, and then there is one guy added EDL, Qualcomm EDL, the emergency whatever layer down there, which for you to do an emergency recovery. Our site, we added an EVM.
Yeah.
So all the smart contracts are things that you can run on top of Chilling, and then very soon we will be adding MCU emulations. These are microchips units. So it's that project is fun. That project is very, very fun. So yes, until now we still haven't worked a lot on Windows. I don't think it changed a lot. There are some guys he have been doing refactoring, and he's doing a good job. So I think he's a Israelis. His name is Ally. I'm still trying to drag him up onto this podcast, maybe next round, after he sees how the question goes and so on and so forth. So yeah, that is the next round that maybe 2 weeks later, once we sort out the entire flow of this how should this podcast go, yeah. So what makes you you mentioned about Berni, you mentioned about there are a few different projects back then, and then what makes you have the urge to or what makes you have the idea to contribute to Chilling? What brings you to the Chilling community and makes you want to contribute to the project?
First of all, I'm quite extrovert guy. I'm not shy to contribute to see. I've done this because I had my use case. I wanted to emulate this sample, so I had to implement these APIs, otherwise shit doesn't work. So I made it and just try to publish, just do a PR to the community and see how it goes. If they like it, if they don't, if we can work something on and so on. So I just worked with that. Simple as that. I mean, I wanted to have some new APIs because I needed for my master thesis, because I wanted to emulate a single sample, a precise sample. Since I made it, I prefer to make it public before instead of keeping them inside, because I don't try any benefit from keeping inside on my project, on my private, something like that. So I decided to open a PR, and my contribution just kept going from there, just a little bit every single time. And I have to say that I made a lot of mistakes with my PRs. I made a lot, and I learned from that. But yeah, the community was always full, embrace me openly. So I'm very happy about that.
Well, the thing is, we wanted more people to in this project. I mean, people like you, like what you told us just now. You never actually contribute to any serious open source project before. This is pretty much your first time, and yeah, we do appreciate to have people like you to join into the project. To have fun, and to look at a little bit different side on what we have imagined. Okay, I mean we imagine chilling should be this way, and the
Yeah.
community, people like you guys, you guys are the one that tell us things might be a little bit different. This project should go a little bit more on this way and that way. So you mentioned about some malware analysis just now,
Yeah.
some Windows API missing. So can you share with us a little bit on the different test case or some the experience on what you have discovered from any unique malware that you analyze, and then what have you discovered, your past experience, test case, use case.
So my main use case was, for example, analyze a malware in a different configuration. So a different, for example, Windows version, different environment. What will happen if I don't have any user input that I can do? Because technically in a sandbox, it's impossible to have user input as actually an user that is selecting something, doing some choices.
Okay.
So pretty much I wanted to make it configurable. And I think from that is the idea of the profile on killing was born. We wanted to not have any hard-coded information. So we tried to have, for example, even the user, the machine name, what files are present in the emulated operating system, and so on. Was born from that. We didn't want to have any kind of hard-coded things. We want to let the users configure that. And so pretty much from this little idea, the entire profile things happened. And it was, in my opinion, a good idea because even other projects pretty much used that idea for their.
Yeah, I do remember we spent quite a fair bit of time to figure out how does the profile should work and all these things, and that is one of the things that we feel we are still very proud of, the profiling on shielding for different OSs and for all the different Windows version, and I still remember we talked about the keyboard, the Russian keyboard, and the
yeah, absolutely, yes. Exactly.
That is what we added into the profile features. Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Yes.
And any comments or improvement for the entire chilling team? Any things that you wanted to tell us?
I think I lost your microphone. I'm not hearing you.
You know, did this stupid shit just step in again? Okay, can you hear me now?
Still can't hear you.
Okay. Now? No? What the fuck? Okay,
I can read your lips.
We're gonna cut this thing off soon. Microphone. Alright.
Okay.
Okay, we are back. Alright. Okay, so yeah. This bloody Bluetooth is a piece of shit. I just got this earphone today, like literally this morning.
You're using that on pretty much production on the first day you received that?
Well, that's what we do, isn't it? That's what we always do, isn't it?
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, everybody was like, "You're gonna use this for production? Why not? Fuck it, let's try." So, yeah, the comments. Any anything you have in mind that you want us to work with, or any things that you want us to add in, and then any more comments, or you think our team is a bitch,
I really like it. I think that killing from the first deployment changed a lot, meaning their final use case. We started with a small, I would say, OS and architectures that we were able to emulate.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, there are a lot. You described it before, a lot better. So the use cases changed with our community approach to the project. In my use cases are most for Windows right now because unfortunately most of malware are still made for Windows, and the most use case for that. Sorry?
That is very unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
So the vast majority I'm working on right now is just hooking things to retrieve more information on from killing to our sandbox, allowing us to retrieve the vast majority of information that I would say wouldn't be possible if killing was not designed as it is, meaning that with just an abstract interface, even if I want to change the sample from an L file, from a portable executable, I don't have to actually do anything because killing will abstract the concept for me, and I will just have to use the same pretty much syntax without having to learn almost an entirely different tool for that. So I wanted to have more on killing is just more support for Windows API. My most concern is about that because we still can't figure out a lot of behavior because we just can't. We will stop the emulation process because we don't have the API. Mm-hmm. But I know that this is a common issue and an issue that will needs more people that working on the project and have the same issues that I have. Because more people there are the same issue, more people that can participate with a single small PR working that will not consume a lot of time for a user perspective, but will contribute to everyone.
So I still have one or two more questions which are related to your project. So before I start with that questions, do you want to change your shirt?
No. I prefer to take. I can keep the killing one. I'm very proud of that.
So yes, we heard that you guys just released Dragonfly, and then tell us a little bit more what is Dragonfly, and then what you guys planning to do.
Yeah, so the Dragonfly is an emulation sandbox, meaning that we allow the possibility for a user to write rules of behavioral rules of what the sample is doing and match it with the samples. Every single information is retrieved through two emulators platform. We are not using only killing, we are even using the Speakeasy engine, but it's only able to emulate Windows. Since we allow the emulation of both portable executable, the L files, killing as is the only one that we use for the emulation of L files because Speakeasy is just not supported. It's not a multi-operating system emulation engine. So the idea is to use killing for the emulation. We retrieve everything that we need from the emulation process because, again, killing as a framework will give us the option to know this information. We have every single string that has been used, every single API. We can read memory where we need. Moreover, we can even know what registry has been created or deleted, accessed, and so on. Even the network, even if we do not have a lot of support for the network right now on killing, if I remember correctly. I don't know if something changed in the last the last period. Okay. So you have every single this artifact, this little information that you can piece together in rules, and with the rules you will match the behavior that you wanted to describe in a sample. You just write once the rules, and every single time you match the behavior, you will match the same malware classification, the same malware families that you described. You can sum together rules, so you have sub-rules where you put pieces together, so you have a general, for example, behavior, and you just make these little blocks together to have a more specific for a single malware behavior, and so on. Since both Speakeasy and Killing has the profile thing, born with Killing, but even Speakeasy has its own profile configuration. You can write your own configuration for both the emulation platform, so you are allowed to use, I would say, you can configure pretty much your operating system as you want. So, I don't know, you know that this malware will work on Windows, Windows 7, just a number. You can configure that so you will have the behavior of the malware on Windows 7. You want to know how it behaves on Windows 10, you change the profile with Windows 10, and so on. So the idea is our future plan is to pretty much, first of all, increase the number of artifacts that we retrieve. So increase always, for example, we do not now retrieve other processes, so connection with other processes. And for example, it will always be interesting to know, for example, if you allocate some memory on another process. Right now, I don't think Killing is able to do that, so you can't configure another process that is running in pretty much the same user space, the same emulated space. And for example, this would be a gladly requested feature in my opinion. So you can select other processes that are run, and so the samples that you are actually emulating can interact with that. I don't think it's a very easy or doable in a small time, small time frame, but yeah. And yeah.
I am not too sure how can we achieve that. It's been a while. I never look at the Windows module, so I don't know. Maybe somebody else that are good at Windows.
Yeah.
But on the in terms of usability, for the samples that you receive from Dragonfly, how what kind of usability that does cheating actually perform quite well, acceptable, or it's totally shit?
I have to admit, one of my most concern is that you actually need the file, meaning the command line of the entire the path of the file to be emulated, and you can't read it from memory. So, for example, if we have the sample stored in a cloud storage, you have to actually retrieve it from the cloud on the machine. Then you can emulate that, and then you can remove the copy from the machine. Kind of trick that you have to do. Other than that, I think the API hooks are quite well written and quite well usable. It's easy to do it. There is documentation for do it. There are no issue with that. I don't think if it supports or not, but for example, adding the possibility to have some sort of context, meaning that I want to add my own parameters on an API hook or something like that, and I want inside the hook to have the variables that I've passed on the selection. I don't actually remember if it supports that, but would be good if it did. One thing that it doesn't good, in my opinion, quite well. The FS mapping is kind of complicated, in my opinion. Meaning when the sample is trying to set a path to retrieve a file on a path, Killing will just change the path inside the root FS. So you kind of have to have, in Dragonfly use case, you have to have a root FS for every single user that you're using in every single emulation, because you can't have a shared user space, because otherwise people will pretty much just can delete other people's sample. So maybe some sort of mapping in memory, meaning without having to actually use the file system, would be nice. Other than that, other issue or other complaints about.
I don't know. We have not been adding new things to the Windows recently, at least for 6 months. I hope somebody will.
I mean, you guys can't do everything every single time, so I understand.
Yeah. All right. So when will Dragonfly go public? Is it public now, or it's still in? I saw it's still in on invite only kind of thingy. So
it's not invite only. It's approval, meaning that everyone can register if they're using the business email. It's just that there is a human interaction for the approval.
Okay. Cool.
It's technically public. It's an alpha release. It's not every single user can just accept it, can just register it. We need to make an approval.
Okay, so one last question before we are finished. How is chilling compared to Speak Easy, FireEye Speak Easy in terms of PE file? Okay, we only talk about PE file. Okay, we don't talk about ELF and whatever shit that comes along.
One of my pure 100% honest opinion, 100%, 60%. Okay. I think Speakeasy took a lot of points from chilling. Speakeasy was born after, or at least it was released after chilling.
Okay.
And the most point that, for example, the profile thing was pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same. It's a little bit more configurable, but the idea is kind of the same. How they did the API supports is pretty much similar to us. The differentiation is they are not actually loading the DLLs, so it's a lot of faster, but at the same time they do not know the name of the params that are called.
Okay.
You can retrieve it on chilling, you can't on Speakeasy, you just have the parameter 0, 1 or 2.
Okay.
I think there is a little bit more API support on Speakeasies and chilling right now.
Definitely, yeah.
They are working. I think the last 4 months were just they just developed a new API. They did nothing on the core of the Speakeasy, just new API to have more support. Let me see. But at the same time, there are no support for other, for example, IDA. There are no plugins for IDA. There are not things that you can use Speakeasy with. Yeah.
I'm still thinking of some better way to do the API. Adding API one by one is not the way to go.
Well, we talked even in the early stage a little bit about that. We didn't found any other solution.
Well, wine could be one way. Wine could be one way, and I'm not too sure how much time we need to do that. But maybe later stage. We are now currently still busy with Unicorn 2 that we should release very very soon. So hopefully after Unicorn 2, after we release the MCU, then we're gonna have more time to look into all these different OSs and all these things. I hope.
Yeah, I mean, the API thing, I understand the pain. I understand the pain of implementation every single API manually. It's a huge pain. But again, I don't see any other solution right now. And even other projects did not have a solution for these issues that we can reproduce. We can do the same thing. I don't know, other than abstract the concept, like the registry things that we are doing, and even Speakeasy is doing. The file systems thing, again, abstraction we are doing, even Speakeasy is doing. But every single API in Windows behaves so differently and has so much edge cases that you have to check that I don't know how to make it, to create them automatically or
We have to figure that out sooner or later. So, yep. All right, buddy. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Nice. We got a 30 minutes video, so I will do some editing and then we'll upload to YouTube as soon as possible.
Okay.
All right. So thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man,
all right.
for your job.
See you. Bye.
See ya.
Bye. All right.